Thank you very much, and we really appreciate your time, and thank you to ARM presenters and with those great presentations. Now we have a panel. We'll start with Lutando. Please introduce yourself, Lutando.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Lutando Makon. Basically, in this project, I'm the lab manager. So what we do, they are doing since the last 3 months is to set down a platform which is a physical lab where people can actually come in and there is platform product and services that are based on IP. So there would be a Q&A session where you can actually ask the in-depth question in terms of how can they access the lab and when can they access the lab and in what ways is it only physical, because this lab is actually accessible on a virtual platforms. So without spending much on this, I will explain a bit later here with our Q&A session. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Marley, and I'm the Partnerships Associate of the Cortex Hub. I deal with mostly administrative side of things, but I work very hand in hand with my team to ensure that the projects run smoothly. I'd say one of the biggest roles that I do play in the team is leading correspondence between us, our partners, our stakeholders, by establishing and maintaining the relationships that we have. So when you do come to the Cortex Hub, I'm one of the many faces that you'll be constantly seeing here. Very happy to be here.
Thank you, Sia. And good afternoon to everybody tuning in right now. My name is Monte Kweza, and I'm the startup advocate here at the Cortex Hub. My job includes, but is not limited to, engaging startups and the developer community and finding ways of how they can make use of ARM technology and ARM IP for their personal business growth.
Thank you, Mogi. Hello all, my name is Tulani Bango, and I'm the developer manager of the Cortex Hub. My role is to make sure that people understand what ARM is and what ARM does through hackathons, trainings, and challenges. So ARM is an IP company. It's an IP company and designs microprocessors. So obviously that will get one to thinking, how am I actually going to do these programs? In a nutshell, ARM licenses their IP to other companies, and the companies in turn build and manufacture products so that they can build and manufacture products and the products are sold to users. For instance, the Arduino uses the Cortex M family, which is optimized for low energy efficient integrated circuits and low cost. So my target is to basically train 2,000 developers, students, and K-12 learners. That will be all. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's now go deeper into the detail of what is being done here. Lutando, come back to us. I mean, just elaborate further on your work and what you do, what's happening at the Cortex Hub. Please, over to you.
Thanks again, Chair. So firstly, as you see, most of all of us are the same, all entrepreneurs. So it's always an exciting time to see these types of partnerships. So to speak from my perspectives, what we have is these pieces that you see behind us, but that's not all that we have. We also have some chips that we have that we have on the shelves. So what we're doing is that basically, just like I said, this step will serve as a demonstration platform for ARM's communities. So we're going to experiment, learning, and also developing our business further. So we're going to developing what's available in here, and basically we're going to interact, communicate with other stakeholders, and then see what can we do from this. So this for us presents a very big opportunity to actually experiment and basically form relationships and make our businesses thrive in this technology area. So
what's your background?
Okay, my background basically I did a degree in nuclear science and engineering. I went on to do honors in physics, particularly, and also when I was doing my honors in physics, my research was in structural light and electronics. So again, thanks to the structural light teacher bits. So that's where I did my degree. And I started off on my master's, but I did not finish. And then I went to pursue my entrepreneurial endeavors. So this is where I landed. I went back home, and then I basically rebooked, and then I went, I found the Cortex Hub. So this space to me has presented me with tons of opportunities, and here I am exploring those and taking that further. So that's that myself. Thank you.
Thank you. Now, you have to make things and coordination to work at the Cortex Hub. Please explain to us this family of the Cortex Hub, how you organize them, how you coordinate things, how you make sure that every week programs must be achieved.
Thank you for that question. I think I'm very lucky to have a very supportive team, a team that really believes in working together. I haven't had a difficult time coordinating anything, to be honest with you, because we have a very tight relationship. We have a family called Cortex Hub. We share a lot together, especially with people like myself who have very little backgrounds in tech. It has been quite a learning curve for me to be part of a team that is in this industry. I've learned a lot, and I've learned a lot because of a team that's very supportive.
Great. Now, there are stakeholders all around the Cortex Hub. Can you just explain these stakeholders, who they are, how you engage them, universities, automotive industry? Can you just take a deep dive? Who are your stakeholders?
Okay, so one of our key stakeholders, Chair, is the CSIR, as well as ARM, obviously the ARM limited company. We're also engaging with a lot of universities in and around Eastern Cape, as well as in other provinces, as well as the community of the automotive community here in East London. That will be one of our biggest targets. As Chair already mentioned, the Eastern Cape is like the biggest automotive manufacturer, and this is where we want to make a big impact in the next coming months.
Great. Now, which types, can you elaborate on some of the brands that you see of automotive in this environment, and how far they are, and what do you think about them? Do you see any latest cars with more, latest technologies coming out of this province?
Definitely. So one of the biggest car brands in the Eastern Cape is Mercedes-Benz, which is less than a kilometer away from the Cortex Hub, as well as the VW Group Volkswagen, which is situated in the Kilometre Array area, as well as Isuzu, which also has a plant here in the Eastern Cape. I think over the past couple of years, we've seen how technology has come to play a big part in the automotive industry. Tesla is an example. A lot of companies are now starting to leverage AI and all those type of technologies to create safer as well as smarter cars. And with this program, we would like to teach university students as well as engage with these automotive brands and let them know what IP and what hardware that they could make use of from ARM Limited.
Great. Well, tell us about your background and exactly how Arduino you think will work in education, in schools, and universities, and what's your plan? Can you just elaborate?
Thank you for that, Chair. So my name is Tulane again. I come from Tata, which is a university rural. So basically, there isn't a lot of exposure. And ever since I came out of varsity, I made it a point that I try to impart and share knowledge as much as I can, which is one of the reasons why that I had to become part of the team, because I believe that a lot of people in the Eastern Cape, particularly, aren't exposed to technology aren't even exposed to a lot of technology as a whole. So my role is to make sure that I make each and everyone, even a small kid, understand what ARM is. I have to make it as simple as possible to them. And I believe that that can be done through project-based learning, which is basically learning by doing. So Arduino is a perfect fit for that, because everything you just connect and you do. Obviously, there are fundamentals that they will have to learn, but that is my approach into teaching and training people about Arduino, which is an associative partner of ARM.
Let's go back to you, Richard. I mean, you have a background in physics, and there's a lot of research happening, SKA, square kilometer array in the country. You have a lot of research happening, there's a lot of data there happening in square kilometer array. How can we leverage that data wow, you have been part of it, you have been part of the quantum team at BITS building quantum computing. How can we leverage the data coming out of SKA, Square Kilometre Array? Can you just talk a little bit about that and how best we can connect the Cortex Hub and the ARM Lab with this vast amount of data coming out of Square Kilometre Array?
That's a great question, Chair. So to start off, I'm not really an expert in that field, but what I can say is the SKA is vastly a telescope-based facility. So there's a lot of visual data that comes out and it needs to be interpreted. So some of the work that's done on it basically is to do a lot of analysis of basically of the emission spectrum that you get from studying the stars. But what I can say is through ARM-based technology, the use of more efficient and faster computing power get through ARM-based technologies, we can actually do basically you can actually bring down the cost of dealing with the data that comes from such facilities. So one of the research that we did what I was doing we were working with some of the simulated data that comes from the CERN laboratory. So that's part of the initiative that has been done on that side. That is from simulating what you get from the Large Hadron Collider. So the same thing that could happen basically when it comes to the SKA facility, because it's vastly a visual-based system. It's telescope-based, and in the tech community, there's lots and lots of developments in computer vision, and that's where the ARM products can be leveraging and developing AI models that will be able to assist researchers in studying the skies, because there's that there are new developments. There's a lot now of initiatives that are done in space, but again, we know that because of people like basically adding more and more items, products into space, we need to do research not only on the ground but also from the skies. So that's where they use the computer vision to actually analyze something based on the edge and also from the sky again. So that's the reality that I can say for myself. So thanks.
Thank you. We have to consider inclusion and diversity, gender diversity of different aspects of life. How do you see, your role in making sure that the Cortex Hub there's diversity? What are your plans? Tell us.
Without giving away too much, I did mention before that I do, one of my roles is to lead correspondence with potential partners and current partners. And I can say that we have been in conversations with an organization that focuses on women in this field. A lot of that will be happening this summer, and that's that.
Yeah, but there are people with disabilities too that we need to bring. Yeah.
Yes, and that is definitely one of the things that we will work on as well. The inclusion doesn't only mean, in terms of gender, it's also a matter of, disabled, like I said. I'll be working a lot with training and home care with regards to that. So I can actually say that we can expect a lot of inclusion in a lot of our projects, not our webinars.
Okay, can I just add?
Please.
Part of the mission that we want to embody as a community that we're trying to build here is basically for everyone to participate in this. We cannot do this alone. We will try to reach out to wherever we can, however we can, whether virtually, physical or hybrid.
So, that's why we are still in this, inclusion, diversity, right? How do you, for instance, I see here downstairs, there are young people from high schools. Have you been reaching out to high schools in the robotics and other programs? Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, just before we did the launch, we had an influx of women that basically were able to just sit down with them, communicate with them, and then amongst them, we found that a lot of them are doing STEM subjects, but not all of them are actually looking into technology, but they was also this one particular learner, and she was filming. She was very enthusiastic. So it became exciting to us. So we did take a couple of shots when we basically allowed them to work with their robotics. Then also other types of projects that we have in house teaching learners how to basically do basic programming, which was the tanks project. So basically, yeah, we do actually interact with them, and we hope to see them come, especially now that we have the lab, so we're able to do more with them. So I think Tulan also has something that you have.
Yeah, actually, I was just playing around my Arduino the other day, and someone who was basically that side, so you can't see it. Okay, someone who was basically here at the Cortex Hub came up and asked, how can I be part of this? And we ended up having a discussion on how can we eventually have an Arduino. And one important factor that you mentioned is that he couldn't afford an Arduino as a kid. And that really touched me because this guy was very enthusiastic. He understood the circuits that I was doing, and he really looked curious when I was building what I was building. So it really did touch me in the sense that, but by just that interaction, there's just a whole lot of people who do not have the access to whether the Arduino starter kit, the funds, or any form of access to actually carry out what they have been dying to actually do.
Yes, again, just to add on what Tulan is saying, so this lab, again, we said that's a very good strap for such people, because we can actually come in here, we can have a register and have all of them this can come in, this can experiment, take out some information, because not only you just design and this can make circuits with Arduino, you also can do Arduino projects that involves data collection, that you can go home and this kind of process that data if they have this, but if they don't, we have some here. So they can work even from an internet cafe, because nowadays we use a lot of cloud-based systems. So,
I was gonna say, speaking of which, actually this week is Arduino week, so you can you can just go into their website and you can just register, add that to your calendar, and you can attend the event virtually. It's a pretty exciting event. If you are around East London, I think our doors are open. You can come and use our lab. And yeah, I'll be here as well.
Yeah. Let's talk about universities. You have a university across the road here. How is your interaction, and there's BSc, computer science, engineering? I mean, what's your business model? How do you relate to the close ones? Yeah, close.
Well, there's two universities that happen to be in close vicinity with us, which is Forte University and Walter Sisulu. Forte, fortunately, is just around the corner from us, less than a minute walk. We did engage with some people from the university in the previous weeks, including the head of the institution's SRC. We are expecting him as a guest today later on. We have engaged also with the developer community within that university, letting them know that there is this new lab that's launched. They can come and learn more about ARM as well as the products that they offer. And apart from that, we will also be engaging with these universities on an IP and research level. ARM has a lot of IP and research resources that the company has, and we will be making these available to the various institutions in the country.
That's great. Now, you have, I mean, the city here, I saw one day that they are trying to start a smart city. I mean, to, make sure that the water meter, electricity meter, the traffic lights. I see you here, the Cortex Hub, you have traffic lights, you have an IoT lab. Tell us, I mean, what's happening in the city? I mean, what's happening in the IoT? Can you share with us some of your other labs, what you are busy with on the IoT side, some of the equipment you have on the, can you give us a bit of how then this is going to interface with the other labs you have?
Oh yeah, so speaking of IoT and smart cities, so at the heart there, we start having entrepreneurs who have products, let me say companies, startups that are actually solving the smart city problem. I'm saying it's a smart city problem. We don't yet have have a smart city. But talking about it and goals that in 2030 we want to have a smart city. So these entrepreneurs have been working on the product that are enormous and disclose yet because we have MIP. But what I can say is we spend from waste management, we are going to these kind of meters, and also again at the hub we have an ambition to do more research on computer vision, object detection and stuff like that. So the robot like this kind of tractors that we see here are physically meant for that. We start our meant to experiment with them and approach other stakeholders, nearby cities, and we start communicating with anyone from government who's got us here to actually see this come to life. So that's the other bit. And then they have, yes, we have some electronics, we already have a couple of products that we're dealing with. So again, this has been very helpful for us. And through the introduction of this lab, now we have more access to the team to give us more guidance, more learning, and this kind of spread that knowledge and become more products from there. So that's that. That's what I can say.
Yeah. I see you have a lot of people who came in your auditorium downstairs. It's quite, you have a cocktail after this. I mean, quite a lot of people, and yeah, we're all looking forward to mingle and listen to all of you guys. So I just want to get a parting note now from each one of you. I mean, what message would you want to give? One message to ARM, and then message to the ARM ecosystem, and then a message to the entrepreneurs who are in this Zoom call. Just if you can tackle one by one, all those three parts, what message would you want to share? Please.
Okay, let me start. Firstly, facing on the side of ARM is again, it's a thank you from our side. It's a thank you for providing this platform, and we hope that you keep doing such initiatives to everyone else out there throughout the continent. And again, facing the side of other entrepreneurs, we have the problem that we have, and we are entrepreneurs that are trying to solve these different types of problems. So it's very important for us to have a platform to actually do something. We all have ideas, but it's so hard to get them to come to life because we basically don't have much skill to bring it to life. So I would like us to work together. That's basically the message. Work together.
From me, I would also like to thank I think this is a very important initiative, especially in the Eastern Cape. I think we all know that the Eastern Cape is one of the least developed provinces in South Africa. So having something like this is very important. To the entrepreneurs, I would like to encourage them to take part in this opportunity something like this don't come often. And I would also like to reiterate that this space isn't only for people who are already in the tech community, but for individuals who are trying to get into the tech community. Good luck to everyone, and thank you.
I think it's very important for everyone to note that for any ecosystem to survive and thrive, it needs some form of energy from the outside in order for it to survive. In this case, this energy has come in the form of the Cortex Hub and ARM Limited, who have now given this opportunity for entrepreneurs, to academics, to innovators, to students, to leverage their technology and IP for growth. I would like to say thank you very much to all the stakeholders, to ARM, to the Cortex Hub, to the CSIR. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Seldomly do things like this come to the shores of the Eastern Cape, and we're very grateful to be the ones to push this initiative first in South Africa.
I'd like to first thank ARM for providing us this opportunity to actually have this space. This is very big for us. This is the first of its kind. The lab is the first of its kind in emerging markets. So I really want you to process that. We are really privileged to be having this lab, especially in the Eastern Cape. And I'd also like to encourage entrepreneurs to stay curious. Thank you.
Great, and let's give these guys a big hand of applause. No, thank you very much. I think for me, the only message I would give to you that you have to lead this. You need to be an example to a lot of young people out there by showing, you have to build products. You must build solutions. You must build applications. You must solve problems of the city, of society. You must solve problems of humanity. Technology in its own cannot really do anything. It has to solve humanity's problems. We must apply it. When you look outside, whether you look at transportation, whether you look at water, whether you look at electricity, you must think about how do you use this lab to solve that problem. So you are here as the best of what the city can provide, and we are looking forward to you giving leadership, not only to Cortex Hub, but to the people in the province, in the country, and be able to interact with a number of other incubators in different parts of the continent, so that we can share this knowledge, so that we can be able to have partnerships with a number of other incubators and accelerators in East Africa, West Africa, North Africa, and in Southern Africa. So for me, and I really want to thank again both Stephen and Marvin and the team and really, you can see, the team here so far. I mean, the guys have been working day and night to prepare for this day. And again, sorry for earlier glitches.